If the word peaty sounds like a foot fungus to you, you're not alone.
You don't need a yacht, a kilt, or a trust fund to enjoy Scotch. Just taste buds and an open mind.
This is Jim, a true Scotch lover with a nose for a good single malt and zero patience for a whiskey snob.
And this is Tab, proud in her Scottish heritage and fluent in Speyside whiskey without the snobbery.
That's right.
And together,
We're
Unretired AF.
Hello and welcome to our show. Today's topic is Scotch without the snobbery. Salute. Actually, we should say what?
Salanta.
So today we're going to be talking about Scotch, and I guess maybe you're thinking, why are you doing this episode? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One of the things that happens when you mention Scotch is all of a sudden people put walls up and they think, oh, these are snobby people because Scotch is so pretentious. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In Scotland, they don't even call it Scotch. They just call it whiskey, and it's every man's drink. They call it the water of life.
It is. Here, it almost acts intimidating if you go someplace and you order a Scotch. In other parts of the world, it's like drinking water, and it's priced the same too.
Right, right. Well, and what do we say to intimidation? Screw that.
Yeah.
We don't believe in that. We're not snobby about it.
No.
I mean, we like it because we like it. We've tried American whiskey. We've tried Japanese whiskey. And we like, Scotch is a type of whiskey. You may not know that, but Scotch is just a type of whiskey, but it must be produced in Scotland. That's the only difference.
Right.
And for Jim and I, we just like Scotch. We like the nuances of the Scottish whiskey, and so that's why we drink it.
And to a true Scot,
yeah.
The Scotch is all about the water. So we've been to Scotland. We've been to quite a few of the distilleries all around the country, and you definitely can taste the difference in water and how it's manufactured, and the other real thing to know is we're not really big into the blends, and we like the single malt, which Scotland is noted for.
Yeah.
Scotch is noted as a single malt Scotch.
Yep, and we're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into all
sure
that.
Will.
This is the first episode in a series that we're going to do on Scotch, and if you guys like it, please let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
Because we've got probably about 100 bottles. We've got a lot of different types of Scotch that we can go over and do reviews. And so if this is something that you're interested in, the only way we'll know is if you comment and let us know. So please let us know if you're interested in us continuing this into a full-on Scotch series.
Because, you deserve to enjoy what you drink.
That's right. And also just to be informed about it.
Right.
So you understand it. I know you will understand it, or once you understand it, you'll enjoy it more. It won't be intimidating.
Absolutely.
Well, the first point is that the price point does not equal pleasure or quality of the Scotch. Some of our favorite Scotches are mid-price. Of course, yes, there are the $3,000 bottles. We're not in that category. That's a whole different group of people. That's not really our tribe. The people that buy those kind of Scotches aren't drinking them. They're generally collectors, and they buy them, and then it's an asset. Just like people collect stamps or coins. A lot of times people collect whiskey, Scotch specifically, and they don't drink it. They keep it, and it increases in value as it gets older. And that's not us. That's great for them, but that's not what we're about. We like to drink it, and we don't buy anything that we don't drink.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
There are some distillers that are called batchers that you can probably buy a bottle of Scotch now for $30. Certainly you can get pretty much some very, very nice bottles for under $60.
Right.
So it's not like you're,
right.
yes, it's going to be more than Jack Daniels or pardon me, it's going to be more than some of the American made.
Right.
But
Well,
it's a total different taste palette.
It is.
Total different
taste
taste
because when
palette.
you're talking about Jack Daniels, that's made from sour mash.
Right.
Scotch whiskey is made from malted barley, barley, and it's going to have a completely different taste profile.
Yeah.
And like Jim said, you don't have to get a super expensive bottle. One of my favorite brands, and one of the brands that we often recommend to people when we first introduce them to Scotch, because we've introduced many of our friends, we've done many Scotch flights over the years, just so people will be less intimidated of at least trying it.
Right.
And we've one of the introductory ones we usually include in our flight is the Glenmorangie Original, which is, I think before COVID, it was about $30 a bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it is now. And then with the tariffs, we don't really understand how
Right.
that's going to affect the Scotch. But that's one of the more affordably priced ones. And I don't think it has an age statement on it, because if you'll notice, when you're looking at a bottle of Scotch, a lot of times it'll have the age statement on it. And if it doesn't have an age statement on it, that means it's at least 3 years, because that's the legal law in Scotland for it to be called Scotch, is it has to be in the barrel for 3 years. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, we want to share some of your favorite. Tell me some of your favorite types. They don't necessarily have to be here, because I know mine's favorite's not here.
Well, I mean, let's talk about what we have here, because one of my favorites is from the Isle of Skye, as this one is, and it's from the same manufacturer. You can't get it in the U.S. It's called
Talisker Rouge.
Yeah, Talisker Rouge, and it's finished in a rum barrel, and it is just, to me,
I thought it was port. It's not port?
A port barrel, I'm sorry. And to me, it's just like one of the best there is. I've got many. Glenfiddich makes great ones. The Balvenie is by far one of our favorites.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to pin it down, because I like them all. There's certain that I like. Some I like better than others. I don't like the real peaty ones, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I like them all. I like them if they're finished in a port or rum cask. That gives an extra flavor profile for me that I enjoy.
Well,
how about you?
And to understand what we're talking about, because I know there's probably a lot of terms that we're going to mention that you might not be familiar with. When the Scotch comes out of the still at the distillery, it's clear. It's clear and it's strong, and that goes into a barrel. And believe it or not, a lot of the barrels that I know some of the distillers are using over there come from America, and they're come from Jack Daniels.
Yep.
And they're charred.
Yeah.
They're charred on the inside, and then they put the Scotch in there, and then they leave them for a minimum of 3 years.
Yeah.
But typically, a higher end is going to be 12, 16, even 21 or more. But an average one that we would buy is probably a 12 to
Yeah, even though we've got 2, 3, 21 years sitting here. But
we have a couple others, but just so you understand, so they go into either a charred whiskey barrel that was used for making American whiskey, or they put them in a sherry barrel that was made for sherry wine, or they put them in a port barrel that was made to hold port wine. So it picks up the flavor, and it affects the color and the flavor profile of the Scotch, which is why there are so many different kinds of Scotch.
Right.
So let's talk about flavor without the fancy vocabulary. So you've probably heard the term peaty, and really what that means, back in the old days when the distilleries started, they needed fuel to dry the barley, because the barley comes in, it's harvested, it goes into a threshing floor, and it's all spread out to dry. And how they dry it, in some of the places that don't have other types of fuel, like on the islands of Scotland, of which there's several that produce Scotch, is they would cut the peat, which is like a peat moss, peat bog. They would cut it with these special cutters, and they would dry it out, and they would burn it. and then they would fill the threshing floor with smoke, and that would dry that barley, and it would flavor it with a strong smoke peat smell. So that's where on the islands you're going to get a peaty, which is just means a smoky flavor.
Right. Nowadays, most all of them they use natural gas, so it's a much cleaner taste and a much cleaner floor for them. No real cleanup. The bog is a mess, and it takes a lot more to do the barley with peat bog than it does with natural gas.
Sure.
And it's just easier for them to control.
But it's traditional, though. On the islands, they're never going to stop. They're never going to stop using peat ever, because it's part of the history.
Right.
And you're not going to find much more traditional people in this world than Scottish whiskey distillers.
Right.
They're not going to change for anything. Very,
very traditional. They've all been. I mean, just the buildings are massive.
Yeah.
Everything about it. There's nothing small about it. The Scotch taxman is out the minute it becomes viable for sale. They have to pay tax on it.
Yeah.
So they have a large vested interest in any Scotch that they're going to sell, whether it be local or world.
Right.
So a big investment. And then when you think about something, if you have, let's just say you have an acre under cover and in a building, and that volume in barrels has got to sit there 10 years before you can sell it.
Right.
That's a huge investment.
Yeah.
So when they sell it, it's great and they make a lot of money, but it would be extremely difficult for somebody to start out now with just the cost of everything.
Oh yeah,
so
that's true. Maybe you could explain a little bit of the difference between single malts and blends, because a lot of people see that term single malt and then they don't understand why they look all of a sudden at Johnny Walker and it's a blend and or some of the other ones.
So what a single malt really means is, unless I have one bottle here that is I didn't bring it out. There is one bottle, a few that we have that you can buy what's called cask strength. Now, cask strength it could be 190 proof. It could be whatever it comes out to after, quote unquote, the fermentation process and how long it's been in the barrel.
And remember, the angel share is taken.
They'll lose 10%.
Yeah.
10% a year. Or no.
I can't remember how often, but they do lose a significant,
some percentage a year in the angels.
Angel share.
It just
it evaporates through the barrel.
It evaporates through the barrel. So the distillers, the master distiller, knows that their flavor profile is determined by how the Scotch is finished and how much water is added to it to make it enjoyable. Because, a Scotch that is 100 proof is strong, man.
And it is. So that's what cask strength means.
Right.
Cask strength means that's the strength that comes out of the cask.
Right.
But that's not exactly the same as what single malt is and what blended is.
Correct. So a blend would be if you had a distiller that was, let's say there were 5 other distilleries around and they had extra, and then he took what they have, blended it with his. That is what a blend is considered. It is not from a single source.
Right.
It is from multiple sources.
That's
the only difference.
Yeah, because even these single malts that we have here, they probably weren't from the same barrel. Right. They were probably within the, let's say for
they call them a batch.
Exactly. So like for this one, for the Balvenie, that one came from, most likely was mixed from a blend of other Balvenie.
Yes. But barrels, all with the same profile.
All from the same distillery and then from the same profile.
And co-mixed.
So it's still considered a single malt, and it's only using malted barley.
Right.
That's what they mean when they say single malt. It's only used from one single grain, which is barley. Where you've got some of them that are, they use other types of whiskey made from other grains.
Right.
And so it's not considered a single malt. Single malt is like, what is it? When you've tasted single malt, you've kissed the stars.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And the most common one that you would know as a blend is Johnny Walker.
Right.
That's the most common.
Exactly. And a lot of people, like that. It's a good Scottish
a lot of people swear by it.
Yeah. And so there's nothing wrong. We're not anti-blends. We just prefer single malts.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now that we've talked about that, smooth versus harsh. I think smooth versus harsh is not all the time, but I think for the most part, it is a preference. I don't think it's necessarily. Now, it can be like if you try a cask strength, like Jim was talking about, it can have a much higher alcohol level in it than let's say just a regular single malt. So that's going to taste harsher to you. I know sometimes the peaty tastes harsh to some people. That's where I say maybe a preference. I think the thing about it is if you tasted one Scotch and you didn't like it, don't give up because there's such a wide range of flavors. Like, I don't know what you gave me, but this is good. What is this?
Yeah, the Glenfiddich.
I never even liked this one before. Is this just the
21 year?
Oh, well, no wonder. It's
That's
18,
one of the good
18,
ones.
18 year.
18 year.
Well, no wonder I like it. It's like delicious. I'm like, I don't even like Glenfiddich usually.
Yeah.
But so all we're saying is keep trying them. Find what you like. Don't give up because you tried one. Like we've had so many friends, we've done Scotch flights with them, and they said, I don't like Scotch. I tried it one time at a bar and it was terrible. It tasted like, battery acid or whatever. They didn't like it. And then we said, wait a second, let us, do a flight with you. And we did, and they could see because we did, different from different areas of Scotland, made slightly different ways. And they find one that they like.
Yeah.
They usually find one that they like. So,
always.
So anyway,
So there are many, many, many. I think in Scotland, there's over 1,000 Scotches. I'm not sure on the numbers now. A lot.
I don't know.
I can promise you will find your area.
Yes.
Whether it's Highlands, Lowlands, Isla, the Islands, Speyside, you'll find an area that you like, and you'll find something reasonably priced in that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I mean, not everybody, but you'll get these snobby Scotch people who will be like, oh, it tastes like charred heather and distant thunder and chocolate with a hint of whatever. Yeah. That's just nonsense. I mean, Jim and I went to the what was it called? The Whisky Experience in Edinburgh, Scotland, and it was a really informative. If you ever go there, if you're ever in Edinburgh, do the Whisky Experience. It's worth it, and do the tasting class.
Yeah.
Because it's really, really an education, and you can use it for all different kinds of alcohol, not just for Scotch. And it has smelling different things before we tasted a Scotch, and you truly can. We'd smell something, and then we'd smell a Scotch, and what do you smell? I smell this. I smell that too.
Yeah.
And they helped you identify that. So anyway, I mean, what do you always say? You told me the same thing about wine, about expensive wines or whatever. You said.
Refresh my memory.
Something like it. If you taste it and you.
Oh, yeah. If you taste it and you like it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Who gives a shit if it's the.
We have a friend of ours that I got. He told me he'll only drink Macallan 20 year. So I happen to have a bottle of Macallan 20, but I poured him the cheapest rock gut shit I had and told him, not cheapest rock gut. But I told him, I said, here is Macallan 20. And he just raved about it, how good it was, and just how wonderful, and all the fruity, everything he could taste in Macallan 20. So don't be intimidated by it. If you like it, enjoy it.
That's right.
Just
that's right.
A lot of the, like we have Total Wine here, and they have a lot of small bottles that you can buy to just try.
Right.
They're about a dram a piece, and they're great. A lot of those, if you have, I know both. What's the other one? Bevmo.
Yeah.
And them will have tasting.
Yeah.
So they have stuff.
Was that Total Wine that we did?
Yeah.
That? We did a Glenmorangie tasting at Total Wine.
Yeah,
It was
that
very
was
affordable
awesome.
and very educational.
It's like $20.
Yeah, we went in this little room and it had a representative from Glenmorangie came, and we tried about 5 or 6 different ones, and then we had things. They had little snacks to eat in between, so you could clear your palate.
And bought about 12 bottles.
I know we did. We went out. We needed a shopping cart to get to the car. But we like Scotch, but we don't like it because it's snotty or pretentious or anything like that. We like it because we truly like it.
Yeah. So next time you're out, ask your favorite restaurant if they have any Scotch.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's cheaper buying a glass than a bottle with some of these restaurants, but at least you find out what it's all about.
Right, you can try it.
So
you can try it. Well,
anyway,
I guess one of the next things that's important to learn about Scotch is how to drink it. There's a lot of different controversies about it. Personally, we don't give a shit how you drink it, within reason.
Right.
Like, we like it. Like, if you look at both of us, we're drinking it neat, which is just plain.
Yep.
I like it that way. Jim likes it that way. Honestly, one of the reasons that we like drinking Scotch, in addition to the fact that we like how it tastes, is it's low carb.
Right.
It doesn't have a mixer with it, so we can drink it, and we can sip a drink for
hours,
for quite a while, and we're not taking in a lot of calories. So,
right.
So we like that. So this is neat. A lot of people don't like it neat. It's a little too strong for them, and that's fine. You can get, I've seen, in fact, we even have one that is from Talisker, actually. And a little pitcher of water, and we keep it out when we have whiskey tastings with our friends. And there's no shame if you want a splash of water in it. Some people feel like it opens it up a little bit. And for them, if they like the taste of it better, that's totally fine. Some people want to drink it like they drink American whiskey and put a big ice cube in there and it's fine. There's no shame. However you like it, that's how you should drink it.
Yeah. Don't get caught up. Now, we have these Glencairn glasses because we like them. And only because we like them.
We love them.
We've drank it in red plastic cups. We've drank it in wine glasses. We've drank it in water glasses. Yeah. There's no right or wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be good in a paper cup, but
no, a Dixie cup.
The whole deal. And let me just say about explain what the swirl, the sniff, and the sip is.
Right.
So, to a true connoisseur, when you get it and you swirl it like this, what you're looking for is when it runs down. Those are called the legs. The longer the leg, the higher, I'm going to just say higher the octane, the higher it is.
Higher quality.
Higher quality.
Higher quality.
The sniff is just all about how good it smells and if you can smell something.
Well, and when you swirl it, you open it up.
Right.
And that's why these glasses are good for that.
They are.
So the swirl, the sniff, and the sip all contribute to the experience and help you discover what you like.
Right.
That's part of it.
Absolutely.
All right. So next is great pairings and situations. So one of the places that we've drank Scotch is where we keep our boat in San Diego. There's a fire pits there, and we like to bring Scotch and sit by the fire pit and enjoy it, talking with friends. That's a good experience too.
Yeah, one of the best places for us is on the deck of our boat.
Yeah,
we love having people over. We do Scotch flights. I've got 18 different Scotches on the bar I built on our boat, so we're into it a little bit.
Yeah, we're into it a lot.
But it's something that we really enjoy.
Well, and another place to have Scotch is at a family dinner. Keep a whole bottle nearby. That'll get you through the holidays.
Oh gosh, yes, it does. And then, of course, while filming Unretired AF.
Yes, we like it.
Cheers.
Sandra. Well, and what not to do, because there is certain etiquette, like within reason. I mean, we don't care if you drink it neat or with one splash of water or with ice or whatever. But there are just some things that you should not do. And like Jim said, don't go shooting it. It's stupid. Why would it's expensive? If you're going to shoot something cheap.
Right.
Don't shoot a scotch. It's not created for that type of thing.
No.
It's created to be an experience that you sip.
Never let a bartender upsell you on his favorite and not yours.
Right.
When you get a bottle, like this bottle right here, this Belvini Portwood, probably now is $300 a bottle.
I think it's more than that, you told me.
Maybe even more now. Yeah. Maybe 400.
And this is a 21 years. So this one sat in the barrel for 21 years before they bottled it.
Right. And so they're going to probably get $50 to $75 for a glass of that.
Yeah.
About that much.
So you might be shocked if you have a tab set up and you're drinking scotch all night and you're not asking, you're asking the bartender, bring me what's good.
Right.
That's a scary thing.
That is. In the Scotch world, that can be a real scary thing.
So always ask. Don't be afraid or ashamed to ask. We always ask.
Absolutely.
Because we stay down trying to sell cheap shit for really expensive.
Right.
$22 for a glass of Glenmorangie that you can buy a whole bottle of for $30.
Right.
So be careful. Don't let anybody talk you down, and don't believe that older is always better.
No,
it sometimes is. Like in this case with this one, it definitely is.
Yeah, the Glenfiddich is, but there are some, as I mentioned before. There are some from the more I'm not going to say undesirable regions, but the ones that have a sulfur. It doesn't matter how old they are; they still have a sulfur taste to me. Some people like
that, though.
They do.
And some people like that. I mean, it's about personal preference.
Right. And then the really, 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 really smoky ones. Yeah. If you like drinking out of an ashtray, then you'll love them. A lot of people don't.
Well, remember we had a party one time, and we had one of Jim's best friends over, and he turned around and accidentally spilled his whiskey glass of, I think it was
Lagavulin.
It's either Lagavulin or Lafroig, and it went on me. And the rest of the night, I smelled like a campfire.
You did.
I smelled like I was like, you know how you smell when you sit around the campfire and roasted marshmallows and whatnot. I smelled like that the whole rest of the night. So anyway.
And that's all from the peat.
Yeah.
That's all from the peat.
Yeah.
The other thing is, don't pretend like you don't like it.
That you do like it.
Or that you do like it. Sorry. Big error there. Tell the bartender you don't like it. Sometimes they'll trade it out. Watch him and he'll probably drink it in the back. But just enjoy Scotch for what it is.
Yeah.
It is it's so much more, in my opinion, it's so much more flavorful than the bourbons and whiskeys of America. But that's just my thought.
I mean, everybody's got to figure out what they like. But the bottom line is, don't pretend that you like it, and don't be like our friend who thought he was drinking something because he was, trying to be pretentious.
Right.
When he didn't really like that flavor profile. He just liked the sort of prestige of.
Well, it was $500 a bottle.
Of the snobbery.
That's why he liked it.
The snobbery of it. So anyway, okay. Well, let's talk about our favorites. Tell me your affordable favorite and tell me your high-end favorite.
Okay. My affordable favorite would be probably the Cuban Reuben from Glenmorangie.
Okay. That's lovely.
Yeah. My high-end favorite would probably be the Belvini Portwood.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
The Belvini Portwood is really nice.
Yeah.
I agree. My favorite is actually a lowland, which is triple distilled, which is very unusual for Scotch. They're the only Scotch distiller that triple distills, and it's called Auchentoshan.
Oh, so good.
And it's Auchentoshan 3-wood, and it's triple distilled. It is wonderful. It is so good. It's my very favorite, and it's about, last time we bought it, it was $69 a bottle. It might be a little more now. It's not super expensive Scotch. It's lovely. It's my very favorite. on the affordable, a daily drinker, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Although we don't drink daily.
Tastes like chocolate.
It
Oh,
tastes
so good.
so good. And then I guess for me, the higher end ones that I've tried that I like, I am torn between the Glenfarclas 21
Yeah.
and the Balvenie 21. They're both very, very nice.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I lean a little more toward the Glenfarclas because we toured that facility and
Right.
I have a special place in my heart for it.
Right.
They were so nice. The staff and everything at Glenfarclas were wonderful.
That's actually a 25.
Is it?
That's a 25.
Okay, so it's a 25. So it was high end. I think that was a gift when we got married, wasn't it?
It was, and then we've bought one since.
Oh, okay. So
Yep.
we like that one.
Yeah.
And
very
we
good.
only break that one out when we have special friends over that appreciate Scotch because
Yeah.
some people, they're going to drink, I mean, whatever you bring out. If you brought out a bottle of
Whatever.
moonshine or something terrible, I mean, what's a cheap thing? What's something horrible that we drank when we were kids?
Boone's Farm.
Yeah, Southern Comfort, something crap. If you drink, they'll drink anything. Don't bring out your good Scotch for them. Only for people who are going to appreciate it. So, all right. Well.
So, is there a special occasion to drink Scotch? No.
Well, no.
You can make it.
Well, I think that it's good to have your higher end ones for special occasions.
Sure.
For special occasions.
Sure.
We save them for special occasions.
We do.
Because it's not something to drink all the time. And sometimes getting together with a special friend is a special occasion.
Exactly. Exactly.
So anyway.
Yeah. So if you have any Scotch experience or you have one that you like, one that you've had a great experience with, one that you don't like, please share it with us in our comments. We'd love to hear about it.
Yes, we want to hear if you have great recommendations for things you've tried. We definitely want to hear about it. And if you like our channel and you like our content, please subscribe and become part of the Unretired AF revolution.
Absolutely.
We'd love to see you. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are not slowing down.
And neither should you.
And together, we're Unretired AF.